This is kind of crazy to me.
I would definitely say it's better to not be in a relationship at all. What is a placeholder partner and how do you know if you are one?
There's a lot of pressure that gets put on people when they're single.
Soulmates don't exist.
Are you ready to have kids?
Being in a relationship isn't the sole purpose of your life.
But they could come out from any corridor or any wall. They could just pop out.
It's now about pregnant. What?
Oh, did that just happen?
It's so hard. I can't sleep. We fight.
Reducing fertility rates that we're seeing around the world.
You're stressing me out here. Microplastics, fertility, all of these things.
Yeah, I think it's very brave to be able to show yourself in this way.
Oh my gosh. Keep going.
Yeah. Hello and welcome back to
That Married Couple Podcast. I'm Nava.
And I'm Kian. And we are so excited to have you here with us, Amy.
What?
If there's someone called Amy, I thought that they could just have a really cool moment. You're like,
Okay.
What? Me?
Random. Well, today we are going to be having an open and honest chat about having kids. And we'll also be discussing the idea of placeholder partners. And as we dive into today's topic, we want you to think of us as your married besties talking love, life, and learning as we figure it all out together.
Yes, and this is your quick reminder to leave us a 5-star review on Spotify, comment on YouTube, subscribe, hit the like notification bell, do all of the things.
Yes.
All your homework. You're doing a great job. Keep doing it.
Keep doing it.
Great.
And this podcast can't exist without you, so please send in your tips and experiences. Let us know what you want to hear on the podcast. You can send us a cheeky DM, click the link in our bio, or please comment down below.
Lovely. So let's hop into the episode, Nava.
Yes.
And we are starting with, this might be random, but.
Excellent. So this might be random, but stems from all the love that I've been feeling. I know I've been speaking about it for like 3 weeks, but around my birthday.
Wow.
We got.
Is it your birth month or something?
It's not even my birth month anymore, but it
was.
was.
Your birth month, but you are kind of a bit
kind
of
of. I am.
But I feel like this year it ended up being a birth month because of the different things that we did. But you weren't like, oh, it's April, it's my birth month.
I also didn't have time. Like, ain't nobody got time for that. I was
fair enough.
in stress uni mode. But
yeah. So was that stress you mode?
Uni mode, stressed uni mode. But anyway, this might be random, but for today is when you think of something nice, say it.
You have nice eyes.
Thanks. You have nice eyes too.
Oh, that was so original.
Yeah, it was. But I was feeling really grateful for everything that you did for me, everything that your parents, my mom, my family, like everything that everyone around me did for me, essentially.
Keep naming them. Let's go. Every single person.
No, this will be like one of those Oscars speeches where I just name everyone. But anyway, I was just sitting at the opera bar near Sydney Harbour studying, and I was like, wow, I think I like this little life. I was feeling really grateful. Yeah. And so I just sent you a text.
You did, I remember. Yeah.
And then I started sending people texts whenever I thought of them or whenever I was grateful. And like, for example, yesterday I called my mum and I was just like, thank you for all of the advice that you're giving me. And it's not a big deal. And I feel like probably people already do this for sure, but actively being like, oh, I'm thinking of something nice. Let me tell the person so that they can feel the love that I'm feeling too. I've just been trying to do that and it makes me happy and makes other people happy.
You know the love surge couple. You're like the love surge person.
Love surge person.
But I think it's great. Like,
Yeah.
I think it's something we spoke about even in our relationship more generally of like, oh, if I have something nice that I'm going to say, we should just like say it. Because even like with us at times, there was times where you'd be like, oh yeah, I was thinking that you looked nice today. But like
I wouldn't
say it. Yeah. But I was like, if you have something nice to say, you should say it. Like the opposite of if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say it at all. So if you have anything nice to say,
say it.
Say it to all. Oh, did that just happen?
Wow.
You hear that was
cool.
Top quality content here at That Married Couple Podcast.
Yes. So that was this might be random, but we know you love the games. I'm struggling to find game ideas. Kian's giving some and they're great.
I'm giving some and Never saying,
I'm saying denied.
I thought I Spy would be really interesting. Duck, duck, goose between the two of us.
Who knows? But
who's the goose?
If you have any ideas of games that you would like to see us play, please let us know in the comments because I would love to do some. I know you guys want us to. I just need ideas. We need ideas. Okay. But I have something interesting to share.
You have something interesting to share? What?
I do. I was scrolling on social media.
Oh my God, that's so interesting.
It is really interesting. Anyway, I saw this Vogue article that was all about placeholder partners. And the article is called, "What is a placeholder partner and how do you know if you are one?"
And did you find out the answer?
I did find out the answer. The article says, a placeholder partner is a partner who looks like the real deal. Maybe you live together, maybe you're even married, but crucially isn't. You're doing all the things that look like two people in a genuinely committed relationship, except one of you privately isn't invested. So essentially, it's when you're in a relationship, but one person in the relationship doesn't feel like you're the one.
You're the long-term solution.
Yeah, and so they're just with you, and it talked about this idea of future faking, which is like you even plan things. You might plan your wedding, you might talk about having kids, but one of the partners is like, yeah, I'm just with this person because it's maybe convenient, or I want to have a relationship, but I'm not actually committed long-term.
This is like very shocking to me. This idea that like it says maybe you live together. I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. But like maybe you're even married. You're like married to this like just random person that's like, yeah, whatever, I guess I'll be married. And then you're just waiting for the right person to come along.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know about the married thing maybe, but essentially my understanding from this article was, yeah, you're waiting for the one. It also talks about this idea of soulmates and like, are there soulmates? Does this placeholder partner stem from the idea that there is one person that's right for you and you just need to find them? Yeah, there's a whole bunch of things.
You said it was then how to figure out if you are a placeholder partner. What was your outcome?
Well, I don't feel that I'm a placeholder partner.
Okay, good. She hasn't caught on yet.
But it said like when they're a bit vague, you might think, oh, he's just not good at planning things, but they're just subtly not that committed.
Yeah, okay, I see.
Yeah, so that's the placeholder partner thing. What do you think? Do you approve?
Do I approve? I think this is kind of crazy to me. I guess because it's like, what's the end goal, I guess, right, out of this? Because it's like, well, if you're trying to find the right person, surely being with somebody else makes it a lot harder to find that right person.
Yeah.
Because it's like, even if you're like faking it, you're like, oh, they're probably not the one. Like you're not going to be in the spaces naturally to meet other people. You're going to be with hopefully your partner, unless you like are going to be cheating on them as well. And that's like weird. Like I just can't see how that would work long term, or the thought necessarily behind it. I can see maybe people being like, oh, I'm not sure about this. And it's like, is this person the right one for me? Let me like play around, and then over time, maybe I'll see if they're the right one. I can see that happening more often, but to like actually know, like, yeah, this one's fine for now, we'll get married, but then when a better option comes along, I'm going to take it. I can't really rationalize that.
Yeah, I mean, for me, this idea of like a placeholder partner is synonymous with like settling, I guess.
Yeah, that's a good point.
You're just, maybe the placeholder is, let's maybe take that away from it. Maybe it's just like everyone else is in a relationship around me. I am just going to be in a relationship too. I don't really feel the spark with this person, or it doesn't seem like it's going to necessarily work out long term, but I just want to be in a relationship. And then maybe because of that, you're subtly less committed to that.
So based on that then, I guess my question to you, do you think it's better to be in a relationship with a placeholder partner or to just not be in a relationship at all?
I would definitely say it's better to not be in a relationship at all.
Because like, what if you're like, you're like time's moving on, you're getting a bit older and you haven't quite found that person. You're like, oh, there's this person that's like, yeah, they're kind of good enough. Like say maybe you're like 40 and it's like, I've never found the right person for me. And then it's like, oh, this one will do. Because I feel like it's natural. I would assume it's natural. As people get older, I don't want to say your standards drop, but I feel like it can become easier to just sort of accept more. And maybe that comes to like maturity or like the nature of the way that people are usually maybe more finalized as they get later in life and they're more developed. But I feel like there's a natural sort of trend of like, you know, people take less time to get to know each other when they're older, for example, than younger people usually do. So I guess, yeah, you would say that in that situation, it's better to just stay alone with all your cats than...
Well, I mean, I guess it's about like, what is the purpose of being in a relationship for you? Maybe people end up marrying placeholder partners because they want to have kids and their biological clock is running out. And they're like, well, this guy's close enough. But also, I wonder, so we've said this before, I think that the one soulmates don't exist, but it's about making that relationship your soulmate relationship. I also think that there are some people who are right for you and some people who aren't. So it's not mutually exclusive. But I wonder whether if you choose someone and you're like, yeah, probably good enough, but then you decide to lock in and be like, yes, no, I'm committed. That's it. We're going to make this work. I'm going to go all in and love this person. Is that okay? Or is that little like doubt at the beginning not setting you up well?
I definitely think that's better. I feel like there's an element of truth, I think, naturally in that. I guess it's interesting you mentioned this idea of settling, and I think that starts to touch on this concept of settling and settling in a relationship, because the only worry I'd have with that is that you're coming into it from an era of superiority, and it's like, well, this person isn't right for me, but like I'm just going to have to love them for like the little gremlin that they are. And I feel like that's obviously not super healthy, but I definitely feel like that's probably a healthier approach than just being with somebody to just say that you're with someone. And we've spoken before about like the pressure in society in general to have a relationship and to be dating, or to like, you know, that there's a lot of pressure that gets put on people when they're single. And I can definitely see how people end up getting into these sort of scenarios. But I don't know. I feel like it's a tough one. I definitely think that's better. I think, sorry, to go back to your question, because I think to your point, like I think you can make any relationship work if someone's good enough. Both
partners are committed.
Yeah, exactly. And if someone's good enough to be a placeholder partner, to your point, like ideally then they're not someone who's actively opposite to what you need. So you can make it work. It's just, the concept of always having a foot out the door is obviously not going to set the foundation for a healthy relationship. Yeah.
I feel like there's two elements of this that are both are true. One, once you commit to someone, you can make it work, and commitment is important. You don't want to always be looking for someone better, right? But also, I think that obviously we're very lucky we got married very young, but it's easy in society to be like, everyone else is in a relationship, I need to be in too. And I think something that's also true is that being in a relationship isn't the sole purpose of your life, and that you are valuable even if you're not in a relationship, and you shouldn't just force yourself to be with someone who you don't feel connected to because you want to be in a relationship like everyone else.
That is, I think, such an important point. And I feel like it's something that's, I think, really helpful also just for us to discuss more generally, because obviously we speak about relationships so often, but I think that's a really, really key point to bring out around exactly what you're saying. Something
else I wanted to just quickly raise on this, I have a whole bunch of quotes just in case, but this one is relevant now. Is that, like, obviously we always talk about the role that marriage has in society. It can help build families and have a big impact. And I think especially also if people come from more religious or like traditional backgrounds, this idea of getting married is something that's definitely pushed on people. But there's this quote from the Universal House of Justice, who we've spoken about before, is the world governing body and the body that gives guidance for the Baha'i faith. There's this quote that says, although to be married is highly desirable and strongly recommended, it is not the central purpose of life. If a person has to wait a considerable period before finding a spouse, or if ultimately he or she must remain single, it does not mean that he or she is thereby unable to fulfill his or her life's purpose. And I just feel like that, I don't know, is kind of reassuring as well.
Yeah, I think it's such a, I feel like we should have spoken about that more. I don't know if we've spoken about it much. Yeah, on the podcast. I don't
think we've ever spoken about this before.
What a great idea that just also like juxtaposes everything that we're speaking about. Because obviously, again, like I said, we will speak so much about relationships here, but there is more to life than just a relationship. Definitely a relationship can elevate your quality of life. But this idea that just because you're not in a relationship doesn't mean that you need to like grab the nearest person and force them to be your like marriage partner, or settle and allow them to be your placeholder partner until you find somebody better. I have a question going back to this, because you said this was in Vogue.
It was in Vogue,
yes. Vogue magazine?
Yep.
Do you know what the response was to it? What did people like? Do you have anything about how people responded to it?
I don't know. So basically this article was saying there's this trend of the wording of placeholder partner on social media, and it was just giving that information. But I haven't researched. I'm going to search on TikTok after this what people think. But I would assume people wouldn't like the idea of a placeholder partner because it would feel awful to be one.
But I think no one ever thinks about being a placeholder. Like in all these trends, no one ever thinks about being the thing that it's speaking about. Like even
they think about having a placeholder partner.
We spoke a few episodes ago about like social media trends and unpacking them. And so many of them, it's like we spoke about like the lapdog boyfriend and like the bossy girlfriend whatever. I feel like so often people just see them in the position of like power in all of those different scenarios. I feel like it's very rare that someone reads this and goes, oh yeah, that's what I am. I'm a placeholder partner. But I don't know, maybe I don't know if somebody, I don't know what it'd be like. How can you tell based on the questions that it asked you? Was there anything that would like help you know? It was just
people being vague with you. I guess it's also like if he wanted to, he would. Stuff comes into it too. Like if people are just being really vague, they're not planning ahead, they're not committing to future events, then you might be a placeholder partner.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's very interesting and I would love to hear your thoughts.
That's what I was going to say.
Well.
Yeah. Like what's your reaction to this? What do you think about it? Because we would love to hear it. So please let us know.
Yeah. But I feel like fundamentally there's these opposing forces of like needing to commit to something and that's important, but also knowing that you are still valuable by yourself and having a partner just to fit in isn't the ultimate goal of life.
You matter.
You matter. Yeah, very interesting.
Lovely. So shall we move on, Nava, to I'm hearing baby bells?
I don't think that's a thing.
That's actually a cheese. So
I actually saw a video just very quickly on TikTok the other day. This American was like, we don't have this cheese here. And she eats a baby bell.
With the wax.
Oh and then another American stitched it and she was like, we do have baby bell and you're not meant to eat the wax. So that was random.
Lovely. Baby Bell, if you want to sponsor this podcast.
Feel free.
Yeah, you can get in touch with our agent and they'll sort it out.
Our agent's name is Kava and Neon.
Yeah, Kava and Neon at
really
gmail.com. Please reach out. All right, so Nava, we are talking now about kids.
Yes.
What are we talking about, kids?
This is a big question.
Are we having kids? Is this the announcement? Are we expecting? Is that why there's this thing on your lap?
This thing is just my emotional support pillow. It's actually, but it has been on my lap the past few episodes and I was wondering if anyone would comment, is Nava pregnant? What?
I think we should name the emotional support pillow. Do we have a name for it yet?
Yeah, I said Gerald and you kind of rejected it.
I rejected Gerald. I called it, what did I call it?
I don't know.
I called it Christina after our amazing producer that sits in the background called Christina. But maybe we could open it up to you guys. What do you think it should be called?
Anyway.
Maybe we could have multiple names just so that everyone, it can be Gerald, Christina, and then whatever the audience decides.
Kushtina because it's a cushion. That's what it was.
Kushtina. Yeah.
Christina said she'll fight them for the name. She'll fight you.
Okay, so going on to this topic of kids, Nava, I guess there's one key question. Are you ready to have kids?
Are you ready to have kids?
Yeah, I think so.
You think so? Well,
I don't know. Like this is what we're going to discuss.
I have felt myself being drawn to babies more and more. I don't know whether it's just the people around us are having babies and in general everyone loves babies.
Yeah.
But anytime I see one, I'm like, my baby.
Well, Nava, there's been a bunch of photos recently where Nava's been at an event and just yoinked a child off somebody.
I haven't yoinked them. The mom has said yes.
Come and grab this child. And there's photos taken and I'm waiting for somebody. I think somebody the other day asked if we had a kid. Yeah, because of like one of the photos that was posted that you had posted.
There's so many of me holding a lot
of photos right now with multiple children. But it's interesting. I feel like I went through a phase like maybe 6 months ago where I started getting a bunch of like baby stuff on my TikTok. And I was like speaking to Nav, I was like, look, like if we had a kid now, like what do you think? Blah, blah, blah. But it seems like in the last few weeks or months, baby fever seems to be.
Well, I spent time with my nephew and he's just so adorable. And then I was like, wow, I could be a mom. And then people around us they have babies. Like one of our friends has a 1-year-old. One of our friends has a 5-month-year-old. A
5-month-year-old. You know how these parents get with these weird names for kids and the weird measurements of time.
That's a 5-month-old.
So if anyone's texting, I do apologize.
Anyway,
But okay, so but going into it, so like baby fever, like we're definitely having that feeling. And I do think a key part of this, as you said, is I think a lot of our friends right now are just having kids. And so I think we're surrounded by babies more and more, which has definitely, I think, led to this discussion on kids and where we sit with it. Also, I want to say, like, my brother is.
Oh, yeah. His wife is pregnant. He's not pregnant.
My brother's wife is pregnant. Yeah. So my sister-in-law is pregnant.
Yeah.
So we're just seeing children emerging everywhere right now.
Children emerging. Yeah. But if you were to ask me a year ago, I would have been like, no way, I'm so scared. And I'm still so scared. Like, this is not me saying, yes, I want to have a kid right away. It's just like I feel this pull towards babies at the moment. But I think if I was to find out tomorrow that I was pregnant, I would be happy, but also I feel like I haven't done everything I want to do with my life.
Well, I feel like that's a real general challenge, I guess, for couples when it comes to planning kids and what that looks like. And I think sometimes even you see it for people before they get like married and stuff, or before they get into relationships. It's like, I want to achieve X, Y, and Z before I do this. I feel like history tells us that you're never going to have, like, there's never going to be a perfect time necessarily to have a kid. I think there's always going to be something happening in your life. I do feel like for us, and this was, I think, a key part of our conversation. I think when we first got married, we're like, oh yeah, we'll have kids young. We'll have kids when we're like, 25, 24. And then it's like, well, we turned 25, we turned 24, and we're like, we are not ready to have a kid. But I definitely think, like, when we were first married, if we'd had kids when we were younger, I think that would have been like, whoa, like, what are we going to do? How are we going to manage it? And I think we would have made it work.
Yeah, I feel like at any point, if a kid came, we could have dealt with it.
But I definitely think there was a lot more nerves around it. Like, I think obviously there would be if we were to have a kid now. But I definitely think if we were to have a kid, I would be like, yeah, like we could. I feel like we're at a stage in our life where it's like, maybe it's not part of the plan, but I think it's definitely something that we could do. It wouldn't be like, oh my God, what's going to happen? Well, we've got to change our names and flee the country. Like, like I think we are in a situation where we could make it work, but I think to your point, it's still a really scary thing to talk about.
Yeah, and something I've been thinking about a lot in terms of this is, okay, what's the purpose of having kids? Is it just because they're cute? Is it just to make me feel good about myself? Is it because our only purpose in life is to be parents? I feel like for me, the purpose of having kids is to have a family that can have a positive impact and raise the next generation that can go on serving humanity, right?
It's I love how you looked at your notes.
Yes, I wrote it down.
For me, the reason that I'm excited is
this
to have, but
because that wording was important to me. I didn't want to say it weird.
Yes.
But then I also, when I think about that, I feel like, am I selfish for not wanting to have kids right away because I'm depriving the world of having the benefit of those kids if they turn out good? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think theoretically they would still turn out good at a later stage though, right?
Yeah, I don't know. It just sometimes I feel selfish for wanting
prioritizing yourself and what you want to do in
maybe
your
it's
life.
that.
Well, I don't know. It's an interesting thought. Part of the trouble with this conversation as well, I think, is like we have so many things in our life that we want to achieve and we want to do. I know for both of us, like being parents is something we're both really excited to do in our lives. Like that's a key thing that we're both really excited for. But there's also this point of like, well, I want to be able to like go overseas and do these other things. And I think obviously with the responsibility that having a kid comes with, there's definitely a requirement to be, I don't say it limits, but to some extent it makes it harder to do things. And so there's definitely a sacrifice that comes with having kids, as everyone will say. I don't think it's selfish, but I think it's just it's a sacrifice, I guess, at the end of the day. And you're sacrificing maybe having kids earlier for maybe trying to do something else. But there's always this worry as well.
But when you said, well, the kids are going to come out eventually and still be good people eventually anyway, ideally, I think that is helpful because like whether you have them right tomorrow or like in 3-4 years, you
or maybe
like
5
month years.
5 month years.
Yeah, I don't think I'm depriving the world or doing anything because I do want to have kids and maybe it's just I want to have them a little bit later. We can make a positive impact on the world now before we have kids in certain ways that maybe we can't later as well.
Yeah, I hear that. I think there's a little bit of a question around like an ideal circumstance versus, because like I can see parallels in this conversation to like marriage. And like where people go like, oh, but I know that if I've achieved X, Y, and Z, then I'm more stable in my marriage and I can have this.
If anyone says that to me, I'm like, nope, you're wrong. Just get married and make it work.
And I wonder whether it's is it the same with like what necessarily makes it different? Because whenever you have a kid, I feel like you will make it work. And I think to the point, this is my thinking here. One of the joys of being married is that you provide this, like we've spoken about this idea of this fortress for well-being, and you provide this structure that allows a family to flourish and to grow with certain securities and protections. That doesn't mean that you're going to be like stranded by yourself or in a situation, like God forbid, where it's like it's just somebody trying to raise a kid by themselves, which is obviously going to be a lot more difficult. I think the benefit of having the structure in place means that when a kid comes along, not only do you have your own self, but you also I have like my family to lean on. I have your family to lean on. We have this like big ecosystem that surrounds us naturally when we have kids, that I think will support us wherever we're at. But I can see that you're making a face.
Yeah, I mean, I agree, but I do think it's fundamentally different than being married, because when you're married, you have the support of each other. When you have a child, you don't have your child's support. You are supporting your child.
Yeah.
Like being married is not that vastly different to being in a relationship.
Yeah.
But having a kid is vastly different. Like you talk to any new mom, like we were with our friend the other day and she was like, yes, it's so hard. I can't sleep. We fight. Your whole life changes. Everything is different, but it's the best thing in the
I'm
entire world.
addicted to it.
Oh, I love it. So, but okay, take away the but I love it and it's amazing. It fundamentally changes your life. So I think it is important also that you are ready, if you can be, by the time you have children, so you don't also end up resenting your child. Because I really don't want to resent my child or feel regret.
Like I lost an opportunity in my career because of the fact that I had to do X, Y, and Z, that sort of thing.
When you say it like that, it sounds selfish, like who cares about your career when you have a child? But I want to graduate. I want to live in London, ideally. And you can't, I don't feel like if I did that with my child, it would be fair for my child.
Well, and there's this, and I think there's this idea as well of like providing for your family that I think is a clear thing as well. And it's like, well, I want to make sure that I've set up like my life in a way that will allow me to provide for my family, so that like even it's like I want to have the success and be as successful as I can now, so that I can maybe retire earlier and spend more time with my kids. And there's that sort of debate. I just also think though that at any stage in your life.
You're stressing me out, Kian. You keep pushing the fact that you want a baby.
It's literally, it's not that. I don't actually, like in terms of where we're at right now, like right now, I wouldn't, if I was planning to have a kid, it would not be right now. It would still be in a few years' time. I'm just reflecting. This is me fully reflecting live that at any stage, there's like a lot of things. Like one of the things we speak about is like service, for example. And if you want to be of service to the people around you or to your community, that so often there's a reason not to, and that anyone can find a reason to go like, oh, I'm just in like high school right now and it's busy. I've got my year 12 to look forward to. And then it's like, oh, I'm going to be really busy in year 12. I'll do it when I'm in uni. And then when you're in uni, it's like, oh, I'm in uni. Everything's so busy. And then you start working and there's always a reason to not do something. And I feel like with kids, you can make a case that, oh, it's hard right now because I'm trying to grow my career, et cetera, et cetera. But maybe in 5 years' time, it's like, well, it's really hard. I'm an executive. My business relies on me. I can't take X much time off work because there's going to be people that are dependent on me. And so my feeling on this is that whenever a child comes, it is a blessing.
Of course.
Which is, I'm not saying that you're not saying it, but I feel like there's a certain thing of like what the universe wills, let it be, kind of, rather than because like I know that we are like naturally as people, we like planning stuff and we like things to sort of have this is the goal and this is what we're going to achieve, and that does help us. But I wonder if with this, it's not something that you can clearly plan, because also who knows, you plan for a particular, like I want to have kids when I'm 28, and then maybe you have like trouble having a kid, and then maybe it becomes 34, and then it's like, well, everything's changed. I feel like it's hard to make it clear this is the time that we should be having kids.
Yes, but also like it's not like a stork just drops a child on your doorstep. Like you do something to have the kid.
What?
You do something to have the child. So it's not like whatever happens. Like, like.
Yeah, there are measures that you can take to like avoid it. Yeah. But what I'm saying, I get all that. I'm just saying in general, I think it's hard to look and forecast forward and go, this is the best time to have a kid. I think there's never going to be necessarily a best time to have a kid.
Okay. So on that,
do you have some cool stats to share with us?
well, I actually do. That wasn't what I was going to say. I was going to gatekeep the stats, but I'll tell you.
I want to hear the stats now, but you prepared stats.
I did prepare stats.
You're a stat girl at the moment.
I am. As of 2024, the median age for having children in Australia is 32.1 for mothers and 33.9 for fathers.
Is that like, where does that sit in your brain of where you thought it would be?
Sounds right to me. How about you? Okay, so there's a random cut because I just started crying. So if you're like, what the heck, man? I don't know. I just felt really overwhelmed.
Do you want to?
Because, no, I'm just going to keep going.
Yeah.
Because obviously I want to have kids and I'm really excited about it. But I'm also scared because I want to do so much with it. Why am I crying? This is so embarrassing.
No,
it's actually maybe interesting and hooky and maybe you love it. But it's so scary. It's like a big life decision. But anyway, back to the stats. Just let's keep going on the stats. 32.1 for mothers and 33.9 for fathers. What do you think? I feel like it's kind of like this is such a rogue episode.
It's completely fine.
No. Keep going. Just keep going.
I will. I'm just saying. I feel like you're having a very rational, like completely agree with this. I feel like there's benefit. What you're saying and what you're feeling, I think is going to be so relevant.
Okay,
and so
talk about it.
So
then.
many people.
Talk about it.
But it's your thing. So if you don't want to speak about it.
No, you can speak about it.
Okay. So there's another cut. Because I think there's clearly a lot of emotion that sits with this. And I know that and so I think with whatever you feel comfortable speaking about, I think it's handy for us to discuss it and speak about it because it's a real challenge that everyone's thinking about. I will also say, and I said it to Nava privately off the thing, but in this discussion, I was not trying to push anything and I don't have any view about this, but it's interesting because obviously there's so much that sits underneath all of this. Our amazing producers being an absolute queen behind the scenes as well. There's so much that sits behind this and I think this is so useful because it's such an integral part, I know, of our lives and what we want to achieve, but also in general. So do you want to speak about what's sitting underneath this? Where are you at?
I don't really know. Like, I'm excited to have kids eventually. I am scared to have kids right now and I think that's okay. Like, I'm only 25. I can calm the farm.
Yeah. Calm the fellowship farm.
That's a audiobook I just voiced. Check it out on YouTube. But I also have solutions that I want to get to for how to get ready while I'm not ready right now. But first, I also want to hear from your perspective. Like, how do you feel?
Well, I think I'm going to re-articulate because maybe what I was saying wasn't being articulated correctly. My whole feeling was there's no perfect time to have kids. So it doesn't matter is kind of my thought.
Like it doesn't matter if you have it later or
doesn't matter
earlier?
if you have it later. And so my feeling is like if we have a kid now, clearly not the plan. But like and that's not what we're like for our like what our plan is. That's not the plan. But like okay, like so we'll make it work.
No, of course. I'm completely on board with that.
Yeah,
like if I'm pregnant right now, cool. Like great, excellent.
Yeah. But then also like I know there's obviously and I think it's also, and we can maybe talk about it, like the nature of your career has a big impact on this decision as well. Because like in certain careers, like your career, there's like a time threshold that's really important. And that like having a child changes things and makes things challenging. My goal was just kind of to take the pressure off it. It seems like I've done the exact opposite. But yeah, no, you said that you have some things that you want to discuss about sort of maybe methods that you can use to prepare. So I'm keen to hear that. Unless you have any other, do you have any other questions on?
We didn't really talk about the stats in the end, did we?
No, and you love the stats. But we spoke about kind of, so the median age was sort of
around 32,
30s.
33.
Yeah.
And so that also is a little bit calming in that like, okay, you have time. Also, I think all women should like get to know about their own fertility early. Like, for example, we had a friend who shared that her mum wanted to wait to have kids to build her career, and then she found out that she didn't have any eggs left, right? Is that what happened? Something like that. She obviously, it was her mum. So the mum ended up having a child through surrogacy and another way. But hearing that story also kind of like freaked me out.
Yeah.
And then there are these
There's like early menopause stuff as well. Like
there's a lot of things that
stuff that comes
also
out. Well,
like weigh heavily on women, I think.
Yeah. Well, and do you want to talk about them? Because I'm not going to, you're, I think, more placed to speak about it.
You can also talk about it, but I just wanted to, Kian really is one of the girls. But then there were these like YouTubers, Brooklyn and Bailey, and one of them, they're twins, and one of the twins had a kid or has 2 kids or something, and one of them didn't. And then she did like a test of her egg count and it was really low. And so then I was like, oh my gosh, what? And so I tested my egg count and I'm very happy that they're normal. Yay.
Well, even we've been watching, and maybe this is what we'll go on to. We watched a documentary recently about like microplastics and like the role that microplastics are having in like reducing fertility rates that we're seeing around the world. And like that, there's so much, I think for both of us, I'm going to be very open here. We've spoken to each other about what our worst fear is. And for both of us, it's the same. We said this quite early on, but it's not having kids is our biggest fear for both of us individually. And so there's obviously then a lot of fear around different things that you see about maybe this, maybe that. And to your point, I think particularly for women, there's so much more pressure that's put on women, not only like from like a biological clock standpoint, but in general, I think there are so many things that you must be experiencing that I guess weigh down on you consistently when that's your key fear in life.
It's so funny. I feel like it's such a dichotomy. I'm like, I'm scared to have kids. But then also my biggest fear is like not being able to have kids.
Yeah.
But this is so interesting. And like, I don't know if we're going anywhere with this, but hopefully us even talking about it is helpful for you. We would love to hear your experiences, of course. But on this thing about microplastics, fertility, all of these things, the way I've been able to reconcile it in my mind that I'm not ready to have a kid tomorrow. If I did though, I would be happy. But like, I would like a little bit of prep time.
Yeah.
Is that I also want to give our kid, and you do as well, we've spoken about this, the best possible start to their life.
Yeah.
And so I think that starts way before we actually get pregnant. So, and we also had someone write into us saying that they'd love to see us like do some sort of journey that we document together and like document our learnings. And so I thought that we could do a journey of like preparing ourselves to have a kid, like preparing our body and our health so that when I do get pregnant, I don't want to feel like I have let my child down. Oh my gosh. Keep going.
Yeah.
By not being healthy and stuff. It's like right now I haven't, oh my gosh, this is not good for audio.
I think I'll come in here. I'll speak in for a little bit. This came off, this is so interesting for like, this is something that I guess you're seeing live, the nature of all of the emotion that sit behind this for so many people. This came off the back, I think it was a TikTok that we saw that said essentially that like the year before you have kids is really important, and like getting both for the man and the woman. Because there's another thing as well where, like you said, so much of consistent sort of speakers like, oh, it's all about the mum being right and all these things. And we're seeing more and more in research that it'll actually like fair enough. Like
the importance of the sperm.
The importance of the sperm and like the role that the man has to play. Funnily enough, the guy should actually be doing something as well to get himself in shape. And so one of the things that we saw that we spoke about was like this idea that like the year before you like have kids is like, that's what you can kind of is really important in terms of like, I say really important. I think it said like the research said it has some sort of impact on the quality of life and certain things. And the discussion that we had is, well, obviously, as every parent wants, you want to give your child the best possible start in life. And so with that, we had this idea of how can we make sure like now.
How can we be baby ready?
How can we be baby ready? Even if we're not planning on having kids necessarily.
Yeah. Even if it's a long journey.
Is this why my thing about it could happen anytime freaked you out a little bit?
Maybe. Like I hadn't thought about it, but.
Like maybe because we've had this idea of like, oh, well, we're going to have kids in the future. And then because of that, we have this time to kind of get baby ready. And that me kind of saying, but they could come out from any corridor or any wall. They could just pop out. The stork could deliver them. You never know the stork's schedule.
The stork could deliver it.
Is that maybe what some of this is tied in potentially?
Maybe. But yeah, I think this is a healthy, like solution-focused way of dealing with it. It's like, okay, what can we do now in preparation to be as healthy physically, mentally, even like financially as well, so that we're giving this soul that we're bringing into the world the best possible chance and the best possible start. And
so with that, what we wanted to do is essentially be accountable to each other, but also to you, our audience, as we sort of find different plans and we can report back maybe on the different plans that we have, if that's something that people are keen for. I think it's a nice little opportunity to show this. And I think obviously I just want to say quickly, obviously I think Nav you've been very vulnerable in this, which I think is something that is very commendable, because what you're feeling is something that so many other people are feeling. And I think it's just speaking very openly. I think it's very brave to be able to show yourself in this way. Because
just emoting.
Just spamming the emoji. Because I think that everyone has a certain story, I think, or will know of somebody that has a story around something like this. And I think to the point of what this platform is for, to have a forum to have these discussions, because so often maybe some of these things are things that people don't feel comfortable talking about. And I just want to I guess thank you for being open and feeling like you can speak openly on this platform, because I'm sure that there are going to be many people that resonate with the things that you're feeling. So thank you for that.
Thank you. Okay, well, thank you guys so much for listening. This has been a crazy episode, but hopefully you've enjoyed it. And honestly, if you want to comfort me, comment something. So that
if you love Nava, you'll leave a comment comforting her.
You don't love me, you don't leave a comment. Maybe if you actually hate me, also leave a comment so it pushes it out to more people.
Perfect. So as always, you can find us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and Spotify at That Married Couple Podcast.
Yes, and as we said, we want to hear from you no matter what stage of life you're in.
This podcast can't exist without you. As we consistently say, let us know anything you want to see on the episodes, any questions you have. We have the anonymous form. We love hearing from you.
Yes,
thank you so much.
We do. Thank you so much for listening. Lots of love from Nava
and Kian. See you next time.